Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the evening lecture. Mataji, sprichst du Englisch auch? Ein bisschen. Ein bisschen? Weil sie spricht kein Deutsch. Das ist, but you don't understand German.
She just said a Deutsch word.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I think you don't understand German. Ja. Ja. Wie ist es bei dir, Mataji? Ist Englisch okay? Ich versuche, eine einfache Sprache zu wählen und langsam zu sprechen. Okay, dann lesen wir heute aus der Bhagavad Gita, wie sie ist. Yeah, right. We are reading from the Bhagavad Gita as it is, translated from His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, then let's chant the verse together.
Habt ihr eine deutsche Bhagavad Gita oder kann ich noch eine?
Ach stimmt, ja. Die hier, die ist auf Deutsch. Okay, dann brauche ich noch eine Englisch. Namam kamani limpanti. Namam kamani limpanti. Name kama pales priha. Name kama pales priha. Iti mang yo bijanati. Iti mang yo bijanati. Kama pirna sabhatyate. Kama pirna sabhatyate. Namang kamani limpanti. Name kama pales priha. Iti mang yo bijanati. Kama pirna sabhatyate. Please chant. Namang kamani limpanti. Name kama pales priha. Namang kamani limpanti. Name kama pales priha. Iti mang yo bijanati. Kama pirna sabhatyate. Namang kamani limpanti. Pales priha. Iti mang yo bijanati. Kama pirna sabhatyate. Manajis? Namang kamani limpanti. Okay, then word by word translation from His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Na, never. Mam, me. Kamani, all kinds of work. Limpanti, do affect. Na, nor. Me, my. Kama pale, intrusive action. Spreha, aspiration. Iti, thus. Mam, me. Yaha, one who. Abhijanati, does know. Kamapihi, by the reaction of such work. Na, never. Saha, he. But Hyate becomes entangled. Translation. There's no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. So please kindly responsibly repeat. There's no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. Purport. Long purport. As there are constitutional laws in the material world stating that the king can do no wrong, or that the king is not subject to the state laws, similarly, the Lord, although he is the creator of this material world, is not affected by the activities of the material world. He creates and remains aloof from the creation, whereas the living entities are entangled in the fruitive results of material activities because of their propensity for lording it over material resources. The proprietor of an establishment is not responsible for the right and wrong activities of the workers, but the workers are themselves responsible. The living entities are engaged in their respective activities of sense gratification, and these activities are not ordained by the Lord. For advancement of sense gratification, the living entities are engaged in the work of this world, and they aspire to heavenly happiness after death. The Lord, being full in himself, has no attraction for so-called heavenly happiness. The heavenly demigods are only his engaged servants. The proprietor never desires the low-grade happiness such as the workers may desire. He is aloof from the material actions and reactions. For example, Shri 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 Prahlad Lakshmi Nrsimhadev Bhagavan Ki Jai. He is aloof from the material actions and reactions. For example, the rains are not responsible for different types of vegetation that appear on the earth, although without such rains there is no possibility of vegetative growth. Vedic Smriti confirms this fact as follows. Nimittamatadang eva sau sarijyanang sargakamani pratanakadani puta yato vai sarijya shaktayaha. In the material creations, the Lord is only the supreme cause. The immediate cause is material nature, by which the cosmic manifestation is made visible. The created beings are of many varieties, such as the demigods, human beings, and lower animals, and all of them are subject to the reactions of their past good or bad activities. The Lord only gives them the proper facilities for such activities and the regulations of the modes of nature, but he is never responsible for their past and present activities. In the Vedanta Sutra 2.134, it is confirmed, Vaishangyanik renye nasapakshatvat. The Lord is never partial to any living entity. The living entity is responsible for his own acts. The Lord only gives him facilities through the agency of material nature, the external energy. Anyone who is fully conversant with all the intricacies of this law of karma or fruitive activities does not become affected by the results of his activities. In other words, the person who understands this transcendental nature of the Lord is an experienced man in Krishna consciousness, and thus he is never subjected to the laws of karma. One who does not know the transcendental nature of the Lord and who thinks that the activities of the Lord are aimed at fruitive results, as are the activities of the ordinary living entities, certainly becomes entangled himself in fruitive reactions. But one who knows the supreme truth is a liberated soul, fixed in Krishna consciousness. Jai. Om Magyana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manopishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Dada Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Godangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gauda Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namang kamani limpanti namekama palespriha iti mang yobijanati kama vinasapadhyate. There is no work that affects me, nor do I aspire for the fruits of action. One who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. So, Hare Krishna, dear devotees in the audience in the temple room. Firstly, I want to beg for your blessings, as I'm quite unqualified to speak about this topic. But I see that the audience is qualified. So, yeah, I beg for your blessings that I can speak something that may inspire you and uplifts our mutual consciousness. So, when I read the purport, two main points struck out to me that Prabhupada makes. The first one is that Krishna is independent of material law, of material duty, activity, or even attraction, he says. And secondly is that if one becomes Krishna consciousness, then one is free from material reactions. This is what he stated in the last part of the purport. One who does not know the transcendental nature of the Lord and who thinks that the activities of the Lord are aimed at fruitive results, as are the activities of the ordinary living entities, certainly becomes entangled himself in fruitive reactions. But one who knows the supreme truth is a liberated soul fixed in Krishna consciousness. And this can be understood in two ways. And the first way is that, and this is the way that Srila Prabhupada also states here in the purport, is, sorry, zu schnell? Ach so, okay. Das war ganz zum Schluss, die letzten. Okay. Okay. Okay, wenn ich zu schnell rede, dann sag Bescheid. Okay. Okay. So, this statement can be understood in two ways. The statement of Krishna, that one who understands this truth about me also does not become entangled in the fruitive reactions of work. On the one hand, Srila Prabhupada states in the purport that one who knows Krishna is to be understood to be already on the transcendental platform and therefore does not become entangled. That is what Srila Prabhupada states in somewhat in the middle of the purport. But also, when we have a look on the previous verses of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna states himself that, das ist jetzt 4.10, being freed from attachment, fear and anger, being fully absorbed in me and taking refuge in me, many, many persons in the past became purified by knowledge of me. And thus they all attained transcendental love for me. So it can also be understood in this way, that by getting to know Krishna, you become purified and liberated. So this is the very special, the specialty about this process, yeah, of Bhakti Yoga. So. And certainly, just one verse prior to that, Krishna himself, he states that Janma kama chame devyang evang yoveti tatvataha chaktva dehang puna janma naiti mam eti surajuna. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode. O Arjuna. So this is very nice. We know that we can understand the Lord only by devotional service. This is a fact that Krishna himself states in Bhagavad Gita in the end, or also in the end of 11th chapter, that you can understand Krishna only by devotional service. And this is a special thing because we want to know the Lord, and by this we become liberated and purified, but this is due to our love and faith. And for this, there's a very special lila that I just quickly want to read for you, which gives you an insight about that in connection to the fact that the Lord is transcendental and not affected, cannot be affected by material activities or reactions. And this is in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 17. And it's a part where it's described that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 1 year regularly visited Srivas Thakur's house, and they were doing kirtan there. But they were envious people, also brahmanas, and so in order to not get disturbed by them, they locked the door. And so in this section, there are two stories of brahmanas who were envious. And the first one offended Srivas Thakur and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then he took shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, no, you have to take shelter of Srivas Thakur because you offended him. And after that, there's just quickly mentioned that there's another brahmana. And this I will read is 4 verses. I will read it slowly. Another brahmana came to see the kirtan performance, but the door was closed, and he could not enter the hall. He returned home with an unhappy mind. But on the next day, he met Lord Chaitanya on the bank of the Ganges and spoke to him. That brahmana was expert in talking harshly and cursing others. Thus, he broke his sacred thread and declared, I shall now curse you, for your behavior has greatly aggrieved me. The brahmana cursed the Lord. You shall be bereft of all material happiness. When the Lord heard this, he felt great jubilation within himself. Any faithful person who hears of this brahmana's cursing, Lord Chaitanya, is delivered from all Brahminical curses. So this is very special. I had a conversation with Kripa Sindhu Prabhu before, because it's interesting. The Lord is independent. He cannot be cursed. He is playing or acting in his lila here in this material world, kind of, so that we can associate or connect with him. But he is actually not bound to material laws. There are other examples. For example, his taking birth in the material world. The Lord does not take birth because he is ever existent. And when he comes here, then he descends in his original spiritual form. So sometimes it happens that it seems that he is born out of a womb, for example, in the case of Devaki, or Kapila Dev was born from Devahuti. But there are also other examples. For example, Nrsimhadev, he was born out of a pillar. So Krishna is not bound to the laws of material nature. And this is very, very nice. Actually, there's a statement in the second canto that I would like to read to you directly about this. Prabhupada puts it in words that are just very, very suitable. I have to see where it is. Es ist auf Deutsch. It's in German. I will summarize afterwards in English. Der höchste Vater hat jedoch keinen anderen Vater. Jedes der Lebewesen aller Abstufungen bis hin zu Brahma, dem ursprünglichen Schöpfer des Universums, wird von einem Vater gezeugt. Doch er, der Herr, hat keinen Vater. Wenn er aus seiner grundlosen Barmherzigkeit auf die materielle Ebene herabsteigt, nimmt er einen seiner großen Geweihten als seinen Vater an, um sich an die Regel der materiellen Welt zu halten. Doch weil er der Herr ist, steht es ihm immer frei, sich seinen Vater auszuwählen. Der Herr kam zum Beispiel in seiner Inkarnation als Nrsimhadev aus einer Säule. Und durch die Barmherzigkeit des Herrn kam Ahalya aus einem Stein, als dieser von den Lotusfüßen seiner Inkarnation Sri Ram berührt wurde. So, Srila Prabhupada said that the Lord is not bound to choose, or he chooses himself, his father. Every living entity up unto Brahma has a father, but the Lord, he can choose himself. For example, Nrsimhadev came out of a pillar, or Ahalya came out of a stone, and he chooses a father just to be in coherence with the material's nature, with the law of material nature. So this is the nature of the Lord. And yeah, what struck out to me is that how to understand the Lord, and this is actually said in the purport of this of the last verse of this Leela in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. One should know with firm conviction that the Lord, being transcendental, is never subject to any curse or benediction. Only ordinary living entities are subjected to curses and the punishments of Yamaraj. As the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is beyond such punishments and benedictions. And now there's the point. When one understands this fact with faith and love, he personally becomes free from all curses uttered by Brahmanas or anyone else. So this is very special, and this is we can find in various sections of Srila Prabhupada's books about we can understand Krishna with our love, and by that this is the connection. We become purified and liberated by our love and attachment to the Lord. And yeah, this was something that I wanted to go a little more deeper in, because what we do is we practice Vaidhi Bhakti, and this is a school for love, actually. The whole material world is a school of love. And when we have processes, and the process of Vaidhi Bhakti is regulations, and it will guide us the way and purify us in such a way that we will come to the platform of Raga Bhakti. This is then where we already have spontaneous attachment or love for the Lord. So we are in this school of Bhakti. And this is something that I personally am interested in, how to have more mindfulness and consciousness about the Lord's love, or the process that we practice here, because it's about bhava, it's about consciousness or mood, how you would say. These external activities, they can be very spiritual, like you are in an ecstatic kirtan and you're the pujari of the abhishek, for example. But if your consciousness is in an angry mood because maybe whatever, somebody took your sweet ball, then what's the point? Because your consciousness is not there. It's not in this loving spirit. So how to develop a spiritual consciousness or this loving consciousness, even though we are not yet fully purified, and it's always there just as a factual, how would you say, like this eine Tatsache, that is just a fact that you have a loving consciousness. No, but as we are conditioned, we are constantly attacked and subjected by the enemies of the mind, as Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj calls them. And these are various, like anxiety, anger, lust, depression, illusion, greed. And there are various ways how to deal with them, with these negative emotions, but there are also ways how to focus, have a positive focus. And this is what I like to focus mostly on, because it's very nice. We are a movement of Krishna consciousness, not anatta consciousness. So it's very nice. And so in this book, this is the Spiritual Warrior 5 of Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, he gives a lot of ways how to develop a proper and spiritual consciousness and to strengthen faith and all of these very favorable activities to enhance one's consciousness and to focus on the mercy and the love of the Lord, which is where we want to go, which is what makes us happy. Because as spiritual beings, we are meant for love. We either want to be loved or want to give love. This is our nature, and we want to be happy because this is also our nature, to be Satchit Ananda Vigraha. This is our original form. So we are hankering after that. In any case, there's no case where we are not looking for this happiness. So, of course, I cannot read the full book to you in 60 minutes, but I want to present that there are various ways that how he presents to develop the consciousness in a practical and in a practical way. So at first he speaks about internal dialogue, which means that our mind is talking with us all the time because thoughts are coming up. And this is very important to see, because we speak about association. In the Bhagavad Gita we have this verse where it says that by associating with the objects of the senses, no, I messed something up. But you know that association is very important. No, it's in 13th chapter, 13:22, that karanam guna sangosya. Due to association with the material modes, we develop our desires, and thus we follow the ways of life in material nature. So association is very important. And what we associate the most with is our mind, because the mind is constantly talking to us. And we might associate with a person externally who whatever curses us or insults us, but we will find ways to avoid this person eventually somehow and get out of the situation. But the mind is always there. When the mind is in such a condition of cursing us and telling us that we are bad, that we are fools, that we are that there is no God, or these atheistic models, then we are in a difficult position, because we also do not always monitor the mind and can intervene. So the mind is constantly talking with us, and when we identify with this internal atheistic dialogue, we are in trouble. So Bhaktivedanta Maharaj gives practical guidance how to be more conscious and change this dialogue, for example, and this is by more mindfulness. So we have various things like gratitude, which are whole chapters in this book, which is gratitude, enthusiasm, mindfulness, and pretense. And I will explain now what it means. Gratitude is gratitude, enthusiasm, mindfulness, and pretense. So eine Art Täuschung, vorgeben oder verstellen. So tun als ob. Yeah, so gratitude is clear. So the Lord is very loving and merciful, and if we are grateful, then we can receive His mercy and benedictions and love. If we are not, and we are just focused on whatever, hankering and getting this and that, and then when we have it, we want something else. It's difficult to have a relationship also. Yeah, so gratitude in the relationship is very important. Then also enthusiasm. Sometimes we seem to stagnate because we are in the mode of tamagun. I mean, the stagnation is in the mode of tamagun, and somehow we have to get out of it. And one of my favorites is mindfulness. Mindfulness means that we are conscious of the Lord in every aspect in His creation or our daily lives, actually, which is very practical. And for this, we have various philosophical facts, like the Lord is the super soul in the heart, or He is also personally present in His deities. Srila Prabhupada is present in the Murti. Even like spiritual personalities are even in present in pictures. This is Arjuna. So Arjuna is a spiritual personality, an eternal associate of the Lord is personally present on this picture. And if we have this consciousness, we can pray, but we can pray to these personalities. We can connect. And this is very special. This has to do with our consciousness, with the mindfulness. Krishna gives us various ways to remember him also. He says in 7.7, I forgot the Sanskrit now, I think, but it says that there's no truth superior to him, and everything rests upon him as pearls are strung on a thread. So he is the cause of all causes. We know this also from Brahma Samhita. He is the cause of all causes. So whatever happens to us, he has his hand behind it, and then we can connect it with other verses like Suridang Sarvabhutanam from Bhagavad Gita. He's the friend of all living entities. And when he's the well-wishing friend of all living entities and he has unconditional love, there's no condition. So there's not the condition that we need to love him back or we have to compliment him or not even to render devotional service unto him. He still loves us. There's no condition. He loves us unconditionally, and he's the supreme controller. So if we become more mindful and conscious about what that means, then we can become actually very happy and very spiritually enlivened. And these are just some facts. And for that, I mean, as desired by a devotee here in the audience, he said I should tell a story of now that how I was in Zurich and something from Jagannath. And there's actually this wasn't not Jagannath, but Nityananda Prabhu on the altar. During the lecture, the deities are worshipped, and then the pujari. I was sitting in the lecture and listening, and then the pujari took the flower from. It was a very fragrant flower. I still have it after 5 days and smells very nicely still. So, and he took the flower from the lotus feet and threw it to me. And like this is one now could be mindful or conscious about this in various ways. For example, as a kind of a friendship to the pujari, but or as a disturbance because I want to concentrate on the lecture. Why is he like disturbing me? I lost the thread, for example. Then my consciousness would be filled with anger. But I could also fill it with spiritual emotion of gratitude. And that Lord Nityananda Prabhu was now like personally blessing him. He's right there on the altar, personally present, and then he is giving me this fragrant, beautiful flower from his lotus feet. This is amazing. And there was another incident that was here when I was praying to Lord Nrsimhadev, and I was praying for the blessings of a how would you say vorhaben, like a thing that I want to do, and I was intensely praying for blessings because I was not sure if it would be also the Lord's desire. And then I was praying, and then the pujari from the altar, he gave me a flower because he saw me. We are friends, the pujari, and he gave me the flower. And so on one hand, I could have been like disturbed and angry because he was interrupting my conversation with the Lord. But on the other hand, what actually happened was then that I asked, who came this flower from? And he said, it was from Srila Prabhupada. And then I was so happy because I noticed that Srila Prabhupada gave me the blessings for this action. And it was confirmed also later. So we can see when we have this mindfulness, then we can change our whole the whole quality of our existence can be changed, which is actually why we are here. We are practicing Krishna consciousness to change the quality of our consciousness, of our existence. Consciousness is the symptom of the soul. And there's another example which happened today before the lecture. I had a negative inner dialogue with myself, which was of the kind of self-pity. That because I was to give the lecture now, and I'm still a little or quite exhausted actually from the journey, and then I was thinking, I'm not qualified, especially this topic, speaking about Krishna's transcendental nature. It could be very philosophically like proven in these things, but I'm not qualified to speak about that. So, and I didn't know what to speak about, and I was not concentrated. I read the lines and I could not connect. And after half an hour, I didn't write anything down, so I was, it was difficult. And I had this self-pitiful inner dialogue, and but then it changed. I had an association with one devotee and we were speaking about the quality and the ways how to have a presentation, and that it came to the point that when you speak about something that is your personal inspiration in this moment or in this time, and you can speak about that, then it can be more heartfelt, and then you can connect also more with the audience. And this point just on the side, but this gave me the impetus and motivation to reconnect with my inspiration that I actually have from my spiritual master, because I associated with him now in Zurich, and also the teachings of Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, how to have a positive spiritual mindset. And he has actually something, time is quite advanced, maybe I should stop here. But so to finish, I would like to read this point. Oh, there's so many points that I could read, but I wanted to read a specific one. Okay, maybe you can ask questions. It's already, time is advanced.
I think, I don't know if I missed it, but did you speak about pretenses?
Pretenses also, yeah.
I wanted to hear.
Okay, I got stuck with mindfulness. Pretense is actually from this chapter. It's good that you tell me. Pretense means to so tun als ob, ne? Also to pretend that something is in a certain way. And what we are doing, as we are materially conditioned, we are pretending that there is no God. We are pretending that we are not eternal. We are pretending that we are unhappy. We are pretending that fate is against us. We are pretending so many unhealthy things that are not true. And when we read Prabhupada's books, when we read the scriptures and we read about our eternal and constitutional position as a spiritual living being, Satchit Ananda Vigraha, full of knowledge, full of bliss, eternal, and an infinite part of the Lord, and we are eternally a part of the Lord, and the Lord is our Father and He loves us, these things. So we know we can accept these as truth and as facts, and the way to healthily pretend is to pretend as if this was true, which is the correct way to pretend, so to say. Pretend, therefore, because we do not yet fully feel it, maybe. So I may not see the Lord in person when I look on the altar, but still He is there. So I act as if He is there. And Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj gives the example that when we become purified, and it's like when we chant and we are on the line with the Lord on a call, and I cannot hear Him, but He is always there. And the quality of the exchange and the relationship is much better if I pretend that He's there, even though I don't know, I cannot get the immediate response. I don't hear yes, hello. It's much better than if I would not believe that He's there, and if I don't believe that somebody's on the other side of the phone, then I would maybe not talk to Him and speak to somebody else or be on a second phone, for example. And but imagine what would happen if when you become purified and you chant, and then suddenly you notice that the Lord was always there. Always, when you chanted, He was always there and always listening. Then, what do you think about, what kind of quality you can put in now already in kind of a pretense? But it's the healthy authentic activity also. It's interesting to speak about this because it's not inauthentic. One could think to pretend in a certain way is not authentic and goes against all kinds of like self-realization, coaching, or whatever. But in this special matter affair, it's called healthy pretending, and this is an authentic activity because it's the actual truth. And by this pretending, we can go deeper in our relationship with the Lord, in our realizations also. Because if we pray to the Lord and we have an atheistic attitude, or meaning we go in front of the Lord and we pretend as if He was not there, and then with what kind of sincerity and feeling can we offer prayers? But if we, I think it's clear. There's the unhealthy pretending, which we cultivated since time immemorial in the material world, and there's the healthy pretending, which, when I thought about the concept that Maharaj is presenting here, is kind of an identification. It's the correct identification as an eternal servant, a spiritual soul, eternal minute particle of the Lord.
Can you speak also about the unhealthy pretending when we are on the other extreme, like sahaja, for example, like you pretend maybe to be a really solar plants or like Manjari in the spiritual world.
Yeah, this is very good. And because exactly this question was also asked by a devotee. And Maharaj says that in that case, you are acting artificially because you are trying to elicit a certain response. We are talking about really acting or pretending to the point that you absorb yourself in the reality. It becomes you. Even though you do not yet have it permanently, you absorb yourself in the mood of having. Then it unfolds. We are not referring to artificial behavior in which you act in a certain way in order to draw out a specific mundane response or to manipulate or control someone else. We are discussing the importance of really existing in the moment so that we can fully become that in an ongoing way. And then he gives an example of a soldier, which, I will read it. We can compare the situation to a person who has the chance to be a soldier. After accepting that position and wearing the uniform, he or she needs to somewhat pretend to be chivalrous, clean, and competent, along with all the other good qualities that a soldier should possess. Even though the person might have the tendency to act whimsically due to his past conditioning, now he must pretend to be a respectful soldier and really absorb himself in that mood. He does not just want to ingratiate someone else by artificially showing a certain posture, but he really wants to convince himself by healthy pretense. After a while, he will convince himself and become a noble, chivalrous soldier. Yeah. So the difference is, it would be difficult for me to put it in own words, but yeah.
Can we say that the difference may be that the sahaja has some hidden motivation to some adoration or some recognition or material kind of benefit?
It's true. That's how Maharaj pointed it out. It's there with the mundane motivation, because he stated to draw out a mundane response or to manipulate and control others. So this is when we see this, the consciousness behind this kind of mood or actions is also material. So we are, this is kind of in this way artificial, and it's not the original spiritual. It's not a healthy pretense, because it's not the reality. The reality would be like that. If one understands that we are minute particles, and my Guru Maharaj always cites this verse: "Mamai vangsho jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatanaha." We are eternal parts of the Lord. Everybody, all living entities. Therefore, we are a family. So when we understand this, we don't want to control another person in this material kind of way to exploit the person. Yeah. So this would be therefore artificial. and not transcendental. Yeah. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Did I understand correctly that you can say that we are always pretending?
Mhm.
That we can choose healthy or unhealthy.
Mhm. We are always pretending. If we are, I mean, yeah, we are mostly pretending unhealthily in ways that, whatever. I mean, Shri 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 Pralad Lakshmi Nrsimhadev Bhagavan Ki Jai. Yeah, pretending. Before we came to Krishna consciousness, we were pretending so much in so many different ways, like all the kinds of faith systems that we have. There's no God. We pretend then there's no God. So then I pretend I am God by acting in this way. So I pretend in that way. Yeah.
But then at a certain point when there is healthy pretending,
Mhm.
then at a certain point there is no more pretending. In the case of a pure devotee who is really self.
No, because he experiences it. For him,
There is no more.
yeah, because for him it has become the experienced and factual reality. And for us, it is still healthy pretense because we are not experiencing it yet. But the thing why this is so important is because we can go deeper and accelerate in our spiritual consciousness development. Yeah. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Jai.
Now let's pretend to be amazingly ecstatic.
Jai. Haribo. Okay. Shri 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 Pralad Lakshmi Nrsimhadev Bhagavan Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai.